and you get a flash of light, 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 and oops.
Would it help if I apologized?
Welcome back, my friends, to another episode of TFT Hyperroll from Mission for Tuition. Why is it called Mission for Tuition? We're trying to raise money for our son's middle and high school tuition because he has to go to an incredibly expensive school. This is not a request for donations, just for you to help the YouTube algorithm by hitting the like button, commenting, sharing, subscribing, doing all of that good stuff to get the views up, because we make money from the views. And with that said, let's get started. So as I say every stream and almost every single video, this season different from other seasons. If this is your first time watching a set 6, know that it doesn't work quite the same way. You can't go into a game with an absolute plan, and even your first shop is not going to tell you. For Hyperroll, I strongly suggest that everyone buy out your entire first grouping. You might have an idea in mind. In this case, I picked up 2 academies, but you want to grab everything just to see what that first augment is going to be. Now in this case, it became a little easy because I had grabbed 2 academies and I saw Arcanist Heart, so I could immediately start going into what I like to call AA, or Academy Arcanist. The goal here is pretty simple: find all the Academy champs you can, find Arcanist, and fill them in. With my grave up to 2 stars and a tier already on him, I decide to go ahead, grab a Cassidon, make the Infinity Edge, and throw it onto graves. Now this is ultimately just to be an item holder for Lux, who hopefully is coming much later. But you want to be able to get a really powerful set onto Lux, and I'll show you when it comes by. Now I chose Graves here not because he is the best item holder, but he already had the tier on him, so I might as well make use of it. But as you can see, he's not really that strong unless he's in a twin shot comp. And since this isn't a twin shot comp, he goes down pretty quickly, and challengers are able to take us out. Now, one important thing about this comp is ultimately it is a race to 7. Notice I just put out 2 Garens just to have strong units. I wanted to get to 7 with as much health and sort of as much gold as possible because I'm going to be looking for my key champions there. While this Nico's help is incredibly tempting, I can't pass up the opportunity to complete the blue buff. This is a key Lux item that I'm going to want to use. And I'm speeding you through these early fights because, like a lot of comps, it doesn't really get interesting until later, but ultimately you're building for one of 2 champs, either for Lux or for Yone. But the key to this season is these augments. You let them decide which way you want to go. Runic Shield, Lux. It's that simple. It started me off with the Arcanist Heart, which was suggesting Lux. Now it's given me the Runic Shield, and I'm now able to create the 3 perfect Lux items on Graves, which will work because I have a second Silver Graves I can fall back on when I need to. I just have to stay alive long enough to get these items on Lux, and then it's pretty much game over. Now that I have my key items, I'm going to want something like loaded dice so that I can be sure to fill this in exactly the way I want to. The mid-game here can be a little bit weak because you're not quite strong enough to take down people who have better synergies, like this mutant team that's pretty much able to destroy us. At this point in this build, notice I am holding my gold as much as possible so that I have as much gold as possible going into round 7, where I get a 15% chance for level 4s. Now yes, this is a little bit of a nail-biter build because you're going to lose in the mid-game unless you've just scored amazingly on everything, and you hope your loaded dice go right, which in this case they didn't. I'm really looking for Lux. I need Yone and Lux. One of them alone is not going to do it. I'm going to need both of them, and unfortunately I'm not getting lucky right now. When it's time to choose the final augment, it's yet another sign that I've been headed in the right direction. Another Arcanist. That means I can get up to 6. I give it to Kat because she does a lot of casting, and finally find my Lux, and now I can hopefully take control of this game. I quick put Graves back in for the one I pulled out, get my key items onto Lux, the Infinity Edge to Jewel Gauntlet, and the blue buff. I bring in Yone for my Academy buff because Swain was just giving me a 5th Arcanist and not a 6th, and I load up Yone with a couple of excellent items for him in Runan's Hurricane and Hand of Justice, and it's time to see if this all works out. The key here is that Lux is going to be casting fast and furious, and you can see each one is getting successively more powerful as she wipes the entire team out. Now here's a case where I didn't scan well enough. I had missed that there was still a Blitz alive on the board, which absolutely wiped out my Lux early and gave this team the chance to destroy me, because their Katarina is healing their whole team and is automatically critting each time. Having learned my lesson, I buy a Malzahar, stick him in the corner, and make it such that if anyone's going to get pulled, it's going to be him, and actually end up 2-starring my Lux, so I am good to go. After the NPC round, I get a shot at an Infinity Edge, which will make an excellent 3rd item for Yone. Also, with the way Academy works, it's better to have an additional Academy rather than an additional Arcanist, so I bring Graves into the corner, bring Yuumi into the game to protect Lux, and throw the Quicksilver onto Graves so he can't get pulled. And with the game on the line, I run into what is potentially my worst nightmare. You'll see it's pretty easy in the beginning as Lux is able to wipe out their entire team except for one problem. There is a gold 3-star Darius with a Dragon's Claw who is not taking enough damage, and when I hit, I'm taking damage back. And from the last video, we all know how annoying Darius's can be. If Yuumi doesn't change her position and get over to Lux, Lux is going to die from Darius, but luckily Yuumi comes back and saves the day. Now this build ultimately has pluses and minuses. The big plus is Lux is going to just delete things off the screen. The minus is if she gets hit, she has no way to heal. So it's up to you, depending on your lobby, whether you want to go with this or with something with some healing such as a Hex Tech on Lux. After the NPC round, I get my final gift, and it is a Scholar Emblem, which is really an easy call since that will help the entire team gain mana more quickly. We come back around again to that Blitz team who got us before, but this time the Blitz cannot land the grab because Graves is protected. Lux is able to just cast and cast and cast and wipe out their whole team. Our positioning is actually really solid at this point, with Yuumi protecting Lux and Graves taking any potential pulls. It's really just up to Lux to do her thing, and you can see with this set of items how quickly she's able to do it. Overall, this is a really, really fun comp to make. It's incredibly strong as you get to end, and to watch people just get deleted this quickly and dispatching your enemies that fast, well, it's pretty awesome. Hope you enjoyed the video, and have an absolutely awesome day.